We are Black Force. We are San Diego.
Welcome to San Diego and Petco Park. It's Military Sunday. It's also Game 3 of a 3-game series between the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres as the Padres wrap up the homestand. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Mark Sweeney. Welcome to Padres baseball. Well, the Padres haven't had it happen often this year, but last night they had an offensive explosion for the first time. A 12-run attack and win it 12-2.
Explosion was the name of the game last night, and it was a good sign to see. And it was contributed to everybody that came into play. Obviously, Christian Villanueva continues to pound the baseball. 11-game hit streak, but it was the number 7 and 8 hole. Manny Margot and also Austin Hedges, 7 RBIs between them, and the power that we continue to see from Franchi Cordero, the long power. It's about home runs, and they continue to pound the baseball. Hopefully they can continue against a young right-hander today in Zach Wheeler for the Mets. Promising career, only 27 years old, but the sub-500 record for his career and the ERA. It's interesting to see what they get today because there's been inconsistency, and also he has battled health issues when it comes down to it, but a talent that had a 12-strikeout game, a career high in Petco Park on August 15th of 2013.
Yeah, the Padres taking the field, and it's time now for our military Take the Field presented by USAA. Today we welcome 9 servicemen and women from the USS San Diego. And the players signing autographs and meeting with the servicemen and women on the field here on Military Sunday. As always in San Diego, great tradition and really at the forefront of Major League Baseball in that category. The Padres do it so well here. And a beautiful day here today. Time now for the weather report. Brought to you by your always sunny San Diego Honda dealers. 65 degrees here at Petco Park. Southwest breeze at 13 miles per hour. In the forecast, partly cloudy. A couple clouds up there, but a lot of sunshine too as we get it started. Don Orsillo, Mark Sweeney, and Bob Scanlon with you for the 3rd and final game of this 3-game series as the Mets wrap up the series against the Padres, and a look at Mickey Callaway's starting lineup today. As Asdrubal Cabrera will lead it off. He is at second base. Michael Conforto is playing in the corner outfield positions, now in center field for Game 3. Yoenis Cespedes is in left field with Jay Bruce in right. Todd Frazier has started every game at third base so far for the Mets. Former Padre Adrian Gonzalez at first base with Jose Reyes at shortstop. Thomas Nido will be the catcher today, batting 8th, and Zach Wheeler out of the 9th spot for the New York Mets. On the mound today for the Padres is Brian Mitchell.
Take a look at the scouting report for Brian Mitchell. He's looking for his first Padres win in his 6th start, 4th here at Petco Park. For him, limit the walks, and 19 in 25 innings. That's not getting it done, but his last start, only 2 free passes. That's a good sign. And trust A.J. Ellis, the backup. He continues to put those signs down. Take the thinking out of the game today for Brian Mitchell.
Well, here's a look at the Padres defensively behind Brian Mitchell, brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Left to right in the outfield, it's Jose Perella, Manuel Margot, and Franchi Cordero. Third to first, Christian Villanueva, Freddie Galvis, Carlos Suaje, and Eric Hosmer. With A.J. Ellis, the battery mate of Brian Mitchell, and Cordero getting his 3rd start in right field this season. Of course, the bad news last night that Will Myers is placed on the DL with the oblique strain. And the Padres adding old friend Travis Jankowski back up from El Paso.
Yeah, he's been swinging the bat very well down in El Paso. Gives a different element that Andy Green can utilize with a defensive component at the end of the games.
Now ready to work is Brian Mitchell, and the first pitch of the ball game will miss for ball 1. As Asdrubal Cabrera leading it off here for New York. Off to a fabulous start at .337 average to begin the year. Swings away here, lifts a fly ball, shallow right center. Incoming is Margot. He takes charge and handles out number 1. You mentioned it off the top. Walks have been a problem for Brian Mitchell and trying to reduce that. and grab his first win for the Padres, coming in at 0-2.
When you think about it, Don, really it's the aggressive approach. Hopefully he can take the thinking out of it, utilize A.J. Ellis, the backstop.
One down for Michael Conforto.
Sometimes that command is just really the location of his pitches. You're trying to go down and away like that last pitch, and it starts leaking over the middle of the plate.
Conforto has reached base in all 19 games that he's played in this year. Longest on base streak by a Met to start a season since '09. Carlos Beltran did it in 25 games. It's a piece of that, fouls it off. Down 1-2.
Well, it's going to be interesting today with Mitchell. Obviously, fastball command you always touch on when guys are having trouble with free passes, but let's see that improved breaking ball in between starts. I know he's been working hard with Darren Balsley and also Doug Bachler, the bullpen coach.
That's in there for strike 3, and a good start here for Brian Mitchell. That's his first K of the day. 2 down.
Perfectly located pitch, down and away, and sticks the landing. You see A.J. Ellis doing a nice job at the bottom part of the strike zone.
2 down here in the first inning. It brings up Yoenis Cespedes. Second in the National League with 25 RBIs. Javier Baez of the Cubs, 26, setting the pace. The RBI production's been great. The average not so much. A .218 average coming in.
Did have the 2-run homer against Joey Lucchesi, the starting pitcher for the Padres last night.
It was home run number 6 of the year for him, and we'll ground this to the end of the Mets dugout. Of course, they're housed on the third base side here at Petco Park. To right center field. That is towards the gap, and it will get down to the track in the wall. Cespedes motors into second base with a 2-out double. Well struck out to deep right center, splitting Margot and Cordero, and Cespedes instantly into scoring position. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
4 runs in the first inning for the Padres last night. You saw an aggressive approach. The double steal set up some opportunities, and also clean defense today. Very important in the rubber game. Remember, the Padres are 8-1 when they score first, 10-1 when they're leading after 7. So that defense comes into play as well.
So 2 down, Cespedes at second base, and it brings up Jay Bruce. Bruce starting in right field for the Mets. Second straight start for him out there in righty. He's been taking some ground balls at first base. To see if he finds himself playing there at all. Saw Wilmer Flores start the first 2 games at first base of this series, and today it is Adrian Gonzalez. Foul to the screen, 1-1.
Jay Bruce, typically a right fielder for the majority of his career. Taking ground balls, and in the different throw, that gives a different dynamic to it. Known for his accurate throwing arm. Mickey Callaway understands in the National League you have to be versatile.
Bruce back with the Mets again. Originally a first-round draft pick by the Cincinnati Reds and spending the bulk of his career in Cincinnati, breaking in 08 and was a Red until 2016. And last year going to the Cleveland Indians. And part of what was an incredible run there. They're 22 straight.
Wow, they were so good and such a great story.
Down and in, 3-1.
Seeing some easy takes by the Mets on that cutting action of Brian Mitchell.
Pitch kind of buried down and in, and it's a full count now.
I thought Jay Bruce was looking for that four-seam fastball. That was the best cutter of the game by Mitchell.
Mitchell giving up a pair of two-run home runs at Coors Field in the first inning of his last start. First inning has been a big problem for him. An 18.00 earned run average, 10 earned runs in the first inning so far for him. And it is a grounder back up the middle into center field. Here comes Cespedes. And the Mets take a 1-0 lead. And that first inning bugaboo continues for Brian Mitchell. 1-0 New York.
Well, interesting pitch selection because they've been pounding him in the previous 4 pitches. And then you see the backdoor cutter that cuts over a little more of the plate than I think Mitchell wanted. Easy adjustment for Jay Bruce as he hits the hard ground ball into center field.
Well, the weird part about it for Mitchell is that he's really settled into his outings. After the first inning, he's had a 2.70 earned run average. It's all about getting through the first inning for him. The opposition is hitting at 400 against him in the first inning.
And you'll always hear pitchers that'll try to make some adjustments, whether it's in the bullpen or basically mentally in the dugout before they get into that first inning. Hard to get past.
Well, Todd Frazier taking that in the dirt, and it's up at 1-1 to the Mets third baseman. Frazier now. Adrian Gonzalez waiting on deck here. There are 2 outs in this top of the first inning for New York, and they have jumped on top 1-0. Mitchell got the first 2 outs, and Cabrera to fly out to center. Conforto struck out looking, but then the double by Cespedes and the RBI single back up the middle into center for Jay Bruce. Frazier fouls it back, stays alive here, 1-2.
Yeah, this Mets team has really been the guys that are trying to elevate the baseball, power the baseball. Not a running team. A lot of guys will take those opportunities to steal a base, but situation here, Jay Bruce might. He has 1 on the year.
Two and 2. Jay Bruce with that hit has now hit safely in 7 straight games. And an RBI hit here in the first inning has given the Mets the 1-0 advantage. Runner goes. Frazier swings and fouls it back. Well, Bruce did try it there on the 2-2 pitch. The Mets are looking to win this series here at Petco Park. It'd be their first series win in San Diego since August the 15th through the 17th of 2011.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They won the first 5 series of the year this year and lost the 2 series on this road trip. Hopefully the Padres can continue that trend.
That's strike 3. Ooh, he flips the bat, does Frazier. But umpire Mark Rippinger didn't like it at all. Either did Frazier. by Jack in the Box. This season, Padres home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Petco, the pet company. By Sycuan Casino, opening in 2019 at Sycuan's brand new 300-room resort and hotel. And by USAA, official military appreciation partner of the San Diego Padres. Marine recruits are here per usual on Sunday up in the right field corner, where the Mets have a 1-0 advantage over the Padres, and Padres batting for the first time in the return to the leadoff spot for Manuel Margot. Good sign.
Such a good sign, especially last night, slashing that triple, also a double. Saw different aggression last night from Manny Margot. Obviously last year where he set the bar with all those multi-hit games. Last night was the preview of what's to come, in my opinion.
On the ground, but to the second baseman, Cabrera slid to his right and throws out Margot at first base. 1 down here in the last of the first inning. Let's check out the Padres starting 9 for Andy Green, brought to you by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Manuel Margot just let it off in center field with Eric Hosmer at first base. Christian Villanueva at third base. Franchi Cordero in right. Jose Perella in left with Freddie Galvis at shortstop. Carlos Asuaje at second base. A.J. Ellis doing the catching. And Brian Mitchell, the pitcher. That's out of the 9 spot for the Padres. Hosmer, who has been very patient lately, jumping on that first pitch and fouling it off for strike 1. A lot more walks from Haas lately.
Yeah, and he's been be able to handle that ball in. They've been pitching him in hard, but it's been off the plate for the majority of the time.
On the ground and through the left side, kind of fought that pitch off and gets it through the left side of the Mets infield. A 1-out single for Eric Hosmer.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Zach Wheeler. 6'4", 200-pound, 27-year-old from Georgia. 4-pitch mix: fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. 60% on the fastball, so you see a lot of those. Number 1 pick with Tommy John surgery. Also last year had a forearm injury that limited his years. Really has a lot to do with the health of this talented young right-hander.
Kind of labored through 4 innings in his last start against the Cardinals, as he allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. He walked 2, hit a batter. Did factor in the decision, though. The Mets came from behind and won that game 6-5 in his last outing.
10 come from behind wins for this Mets club.
Throw to first, and back to the bag is Hosmer. Christian Villanueva back at third base today and batting third in the Padres order. There's Franchi Cordero waiting on deck. Lead on the fastball there, and it's ball and a strike now to Villanueva. Batting .472 during his current 11-game hitting streak. That'll get a piece of the catcher Nito, and he's going to hobble around a little bit, try to walk it off here.
You get the spot start, then you get a check swing that rifles off your right big toe. I won't do it to you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I've already been hitting the toe, though. Thank you.
So you know what it feels like.
I know exactly what it feels like to be a big leaguer. Yeah. It doesn't feel good.
No, it's not good.
No. Yeah, we're starting to run out of places, which is a good thing. It's taken 2 seasons, but.
And no body armor?
No. That
tells a lot about you.
Yeah. Trying to frame it was Nito on that outside corner, but it's away. Wheeler has loaded up here, the runner at first base in Hosmer. Bounce in, nicely picked by Nito, the catcher for the Mets, and a full count now to Villanueva.
Well, you could see the split finger, that almost a split change. Very difficult to block, and you see him keeping and sliding that body over to the right. Nice job by the young catcher.
Foul down the right field line, out of play. And Christian Villanueva leading all rookies with his 8 home runs on the year. His teammate and the guy on deck, Franchi Cordero, has 6. Ranks second, leads all rookie outfielders. 14 rookie home runs for the Padres in 2018. That's the most for any team across Major League Baseball. And that's ball 4 in the dirt again. So now 2 on with 1 away on the Villanueva walk.
Now, Don, you touched on the power numbers, obviously, with the youngsters with the power, but they've also taken their walks, and especially Christian Villanueva has slowed the game down. That's the big thing, since he's been that everyday spot at third base.
It seems so unusual for rookies to say that they've been patient and taken their walks. That's big. It doesn't happen often. And you got Hosmer at second base, Villanueva at first, 1 down in the first, and here is Franchi Cordero. 237, 6 homers, 13 runs batted in. Down and in, and it's 1-1. Swing it over the top of that.
I think a lot of Franchi Cordero is getting some balls in, and this is a changeup action that comes in as well. They're going to mix speeds with Cordero, but if you make a mistake, he's prone to hit it a long way.
Same spot, same pitch. His reputation kind of preceding him lately, and these pitchers know all about the power of Franchi Cordero. Doesn't take long. And a swing and a miss. Cordero strikes out this time. That's a big out for Zach Wheeler. And there are 2 outs here in the first inning. Let's check out the Mets defensively, brought to you by Cadillac. Left to right across the outfield, Yoenis Cespedes, Michael Conforto, and Jay Bruce. Third to first, Todd Frazier, Jose Reyes, as Drupal Cabrera and Adrian Gonzalez, with Thomas Nido doing the catching for Zach Wheeler. And of course, Adrian, a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner and former Padre, played here from 06 to 2010. And an All-Star representing the Padres 3 times. Runners at first and second with 2 away, and here's Jose Perella. After that high fastball for strike 1.
Jose Perella last night, 5 plate appearances, on base 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. Need a big hit in these situations. These 2-out hits have been really good for the Padres of late.
Bluff to second, no throw, but it's got Hosmer darting back to the bag at second. Neither Reyes or Cabrera was cheating in behind him, but Hosmer didn't know that. Same pitch and same result, 0-2. Staying up here to Perella, and he is chasing. Tight. Has a tendency to dive a little bit and almost dove into that one.
Yeah, really exposes your hands, and watch the hands come in as it has a little bit of run. Just misses that left hand, the bottom hand. That'll get your attention.
Always amazes me in that shot how little time you have to react.
Yeah.
Frame there by Nido, but just missed.
Nido's been dragging that ball into the strike zone a little too much, and umpires don't tend to like that. See some guys of how the catchers presented. Watch A.J. Ellis on the other side.
Nice at bat here for Perella. He's taken some, fouled off some, and full count now. And the runners can get a start.
Good take, and obviously the changeup. And when you're taking that, seeing it out of the hands, now you're probably going to see that high fastball again. See if Perella gets on top of it.
Hosmer at second, Villanueva at first. 2 down here in the first. And it's foul back to the screen. Runners will have to return to their respective bases. Hosmer to second, Villanueva to first.
That was a mistake by Wheeler. Wanted the ball up and the center cut.
Good battle going on here. 7th pitch of the at bat coming up here for Perella. 23rd of this first inning for Zach Wheeler. Jolted down the right field line, but foul. Margot grounded out to begin the inning. Eric Hosmer with a single. Villanueva walked. Cordero struck out. So 2 down, 2 on, and with a full count, the runners will be off again. They're taking too much time, so Perella requested time, got it. In the dirt for ball 4, and Wheeler has walked his second Padre of the inning, and this time it loads the bases. Bases filled here with Padres, and Freddie Galvis coming up. Galvis 250 with a home run, 7 runs batted in, and played in every game for the Padres this season. This is game number 29, and played in every game last year for the Philadelphia Phillies, all 162.
Now, Don, you remember last night took one off the tricep area. Back in it again. This guy's a gamer.
On visit here, charged to the Mets with Todd Frazier, third baseman, and Tomas Nido coming in to meet with Zach Wheeler.
He touched on what Wheeler did his last start, and every start that he's had this year, the opportunities, it's got progressively worse. So this first inning couldn't be any bigger for the Padres to get on top of Zach Wheeler.
Galvis fouls it back and evens the count at 1-1. Hosmer at third, Villanueva at second, Perella at first. The 2 outs here in the Padres first, and Galvis fouls back another.
Galvis using those sunglasses to hit just takes the vision, and you don't squint on days like this. It has a lot of glare out here.
On the ground, foul towards the end of the Padres dugout, first base way. And no shortage of sunshine today in San Diego in the finale of this 3-game series. Finale of a brief homestand for the Padres. Just these 3 against the Mets. Galvis staying alive.
Yeah, looks like Wheeler is getting a good feel for that changeup. You saw against Cordero 3 in a row. And that last pitch to Galvis was the change.
Elevates and Galvis chases. Wheeler out of a major jam. 1-0 New York.
Felt good, started to swing it well, and then all of a sudden something else pops up. An oblique situation. Felt it yesterday on the one swing I had that fourth at bat. You know, right now they're calling it a low grade, which is good. You know, they say they're talking, you know, 14 days.
That's Will Myers talking about his injury suffered last night in his fourth at bat of the ball game, a left oblique strain. Now he's trying to be optimistic, guys, and saying maybe 10 to 14 days. But Andy Green has suffered this injury himself and said usually it takes at least a month. Travis Jankowski called up in the meantime. Good news for Travis. He was hitting .351 in El Paso. He gets the opportunity, but obviously the Padres are going to be very much missing a big bat in their lineup.
Absolutely, Scan. That is a tough break. As Will said himself, he's just starting to come back again and feel good at the plate, and then something else comes up and he returns to the DL. Pirela got a bad break on this, but he will recover and make the catch. Didn't get a real good read, but it hung up long enough for Pirela to come in and make the catch for the first out. And Adrian Gonzalez retired here in the second inning.
I see Mitchell pounding Adrian Gonzalez in, and the first step is so important as an outfielder. To your point, Don, didn't have a very good read, but also made up for that with the speed and stayed up a little bit.
Started 2 steps back. The swing fooled him, or what exactly? But Pirela comes in, results based business. He got the job done.
Sure did. Ended in your glove. That's a good thing.
That's it. As Reyes getting the start, came in defensively in last night's game, but getting his first start of the series. Originally a Met coming up through the New York system. Remember when Reyes and David Wright coming through at the same time.
He's had some very high productive years as a regular as a shortstop. Now he has a different phase of his career. He's on the bench primarily, and it's been a struggle to start the year.
10 active major leaguers with at least 2,000 hits, and this time he'll take a walk instead. First walk given up by Brian Mitchell. It's time now for our Valley View Casino trivia question.
Trivia intimidates me.
I have a tough time with trivia. Tweet us your answers by the end of the inning using hashtag Valley View Trivia. In April 2017, Cespedes tied the Mets team record for most home runs in a game with 3. 2 former Mets, 3 home runs in a game against the Padres. He named one of them. It's our Valley View Casino trivia question today.
Can I answer on?
What
Because
do you
it
got?
intimidates me. I say Piazza had one.
Think so?
He had
Pretty
a lot,
good guess.
He had a lot of homers.
He did. He had a few.
Those line drives to right center almost look like a left-handed pull hitter.
He used a big bat, right?
Yeah.
Like bigger than most.
I would have been dragging that up if I used that. Remember Lance Johnson?
Sure.
One dog, they called him. He had a huge bat. It's like 35 inches.
I think bat speed would be an issue using that big a bat.
Yeah, and that's so imperative. And conversely, the great Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn, would have 32 and a half, 33 and a half. And he could wheel that magic wand all over the place. It was bat speed.
Runner goes in. Reyes, throw down. It's going to be close, and he is safe at second base. Well, if the Padres challenge this or not. A.J. Ellis thought he had him. That would be stolen base number 514 if it is indeed a stolen base for Reyes.
Yeah, tough pitch to throw on. It was not located very well, but a quick release by A.J. Ellis.
Definitely beats the throw, but as he come off the bag, no, looks like he's on it.
Yeah, the whole body basically went over the top of the bag, and he maintained that with his right foot.
No challenge here from the Padres. So a stolen base for Reyes in scoring position with 1 down. Walks have been an issue for Brian Mitchell, and a walk here in this inning. And a stolen base, and here comes a visit from A.J. Ellis to the mound to talk to Brian Mitchell. He's falling behind here, 3-0 with the number 8 hitter, Tomas Nido.
And that last walk that he had against Reyes, that's his 20th on the year. It's only his 6th start. That's been something that they've had to try to drive home, because those free passes tend to score many times.
So 1 out, Reyes at second base, and Tomas Nido. Waiting on a 3-0. That'll be a strike, 3-1. Mitchell ran into trouble with 2 outs in the first inning. A double for Cespedes, the RBI single for Jay Bruce. Here with 1 out, he walked Reyes, who stole second base. Now Nido will line this into center field. Reyes got a late break, and he's going to try and score. Margot's throw is not going to be in time, and the Mets take a 2-0 lead. Reyes did not break right away at second base. He didn't get a good read, but a lot of problems. He gets in the headfirst slide at the plate. And the RBI single by Nido, and the Mets take a 2-0 lead.
Not a bad pitch, down and away, and Nido does a nice job. You watch the break from Reyes. He has that hesitation, as you said, Don. I thought Margot had an opportunity, and you see that extra hop right there that doesn't get Reyes. Reyes outruns the throw.
So 1 out, Nido at first base, held on over there by Hosmer. And here's Zach Wheeler. Squares and takes strike 1. Wheeler, 107 average overall in his 4th career major league season. This year has a couple of hits, 2 for 5 at the plate. Pops it up on the bunt bid, foul. So down here 0-2. He still tries to bunt with the 2 strikes on him. Squaring and getting it down this time. Hosmer's going to go to second, and that is just in time. Nice. Oh, it almost got thrown into center field. Freddie Galvis somehow kept the foot on the bag there on the force out at second base of Nido. And we'll see if Mickey Callaway is going to challenge this.
I tell you what, Eric Hosmer has been aggressive on bunt plays. There's been times where you think, no, he doesn't have an opportunity, but the strength of the arm, and a nice job by Freddie Galvis to maintain the bag on the back end. Strong throwing arm.
Nice acrobatic play right there. Kept the foot on, and it's a 1-6 force out at second base. So Wheeler not getting the job done. And the bunt bid trying to get that runner over into scoring position. As Drupal Cabrera. Cabrera's hit safely in all but 1 of 13 road games this year. And 4 of the 5 home runs he has have come away from Citi Field. He's hitting at 337. That's good for 3rd. He's trying to win this series against the Mets before heading out on the road to San Francisco. On the ground to second base. Suaje will go to first for the out that ends the inning. Mets add another run, 2-0 New York. The last of the second. It's time now to answer our Valley View Casino trivia question. April 2017, Yoenis Cespedes tied the Mets record for most home runs in a game with 3. 2 former Mets hit 3 home runs in a game against the Padres. And you name one of them.
Edgardo Alfonso.
Oh, Gary Carter and Lucas Duda.
Yeah, I'm intimidated by trivia.
Carter did it in '85. Duda doing it in 2015. Oh, Piazza.
Shocker. Another thing that I'm not good at.
Carlos Asuaje is going to lead it off here in the home half of the second inning. That's enjoying a 2-0 advantage over the Padres. Jumps on that first pitch and fouls it off. Long first inning for Wheeler, but he got out of it somehow. Giving up a hit, 2 walks, but worked his way around it, able to strike out Freddie Galvis, and ended the first inning unscathed, although it did take its toll on the pitch count. 30 first inning pitches. As to center, Conforto drifts back and makes the catch shy of the track for the first out of the second inning.
Well, it's interesting, Don, because Jason Vargas only went 3 2/3 last night. Had to use a lot of guys out of the bullpen, so that might come into play. Remember, the Mets have an off day tomorrow, so this is going to be a bullpen day if that trend keeps on going, especially in that first inning with all the pitches.
They are without Juris Familia, their closer, not available to close today. Attending a memorial service for his father-in-law who recently passed away, so he's not here today.
Sorry to hear that, but that's to the benefit of the Padres, because Familia already with 9 saves on the year.
He pitched in last night's game, helping mop up, getting some work in the ball game last night for Mickey Callaway. A.J. Ellis batting for the first time today. Just fights this one off, back and first, falling fast into right field for a base hit. Ellis will throw the brakes on. Second Padres hit of the afternoon.
See Austin Hedges enjoying that work, because Austin Hedges last night 5 career high RBIs. See, getting on top of that fastball, that's been a trend for the Padres. They're pitching at the top of the zone so many times, and A.J. Ellis knows what they're trying to do. Dumps this into right.
One down, runner at first, and here's Brian Mitchell, the pitcher, already squaring. And he gets it down sharply back to the mound. Wheeler's going to second for the force out, and gets it there in time to retire A.J. Ellis. So both pitchers unable to move the runners along here in this game. Both 1-6 force outs. Mitchell reaching at first base, but it's there with 2 down, and second time through the order now for Zach Wheeler. And well, Margot grounded out to second base in the first inning, 0 for 1. 2 for 6 in the series is the Padres center fielder. To third, and Frazier, with his momentum going that way, will go to second base for the force out. That ends the inning. We're through 2-0 New York.
around right now 2-0, and I am honored to be joined by the commanding officer of the USS San Diego, Captain Pete Collins. Captain, thank you so much for your service, and thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast today.
Thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here. It's great to be at Petco Park, and it's just been a fantastic day altogether.
All right, now, Captain, before we get into the naval talk, we got to talk about your first pitch today. You threw a perfect strike with good movement on it. Some baseball background?
Well, played baseball in high school, but I will say it's been a few years since I've thrown a ball. And fortunately, just kind of warmed up my wife this morning, and she managed to take a good shiner in the palm earlier on, so she took the hit for the team.
Now, I got to ask you, more nerves going into combat or throwing that first pitch, because you had a lot of your sailors lining the field as well. You might have gotten a little razzing if you didn't throw a good pitch.
Oh, there was the whole concept of don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. So it was all good, though.
Captain, you've had a long career. Obviously, you started off flying helicopters. Now you're commanding your own vessel, the San Diego. You have a long history here in Coronado. How meaningful is it to you, and how proud are you to be able to command the ship that has its home port and namesake here in San Diego?
I tell you, it's humbling. It's very humbling. When I was actually selected to take command of a ship, and not just any ship, but the San Diego, that's the only Navy ship that's actually home ported in its namesake. It's amazing, especially since all of my fleet tours have been here in San Diego. Very, very blessed. Again, just very humbled, and so excited to actually be part of this team and build in Team San Diego, which isn't just a Navy team, it's the Navy and Marine Corps team. That on deployment, we really did foster that atmosphere, and Team San Diego is very, very strong.
Captain, I saw a great picture of your ship coming into port, and on the deck, in formation are sailors and Marines forming the San Diego Padre logo. How meaningful is it to have that connection with the Navy family and the San Diego Padres?
Huge, absolutely huge. We kind of set it up so all the devil dogs were the D and the sailors were the S. And you look at it and you can see the definite differentiation in colors there on the flight deck. And it really did make a big difference, because the Padres gave us the ability to use the SD from the logo for a lot of different stuff we do on the ship, which is fantastic. And it really did bring it all home as far as, say, the team support for the ship and vice versa, and how really the Team San Diego's family here in San Diego is just incredible.
Captain, the San Diego is 680-foot-long amphibious transportation dock. What can you tell us about your warship?
Well, it's a fantastic warship, first off. It's definitely a warship, first off, but we do it all. We do amphibious operations, air operations, small boat operations, and also we're performing as the Air Defense Commander all at the same time. And to see us doing all the different things all in conjunction, it's an incredible sight that most ships can't actually do that many different diverse mission areas all at the same time. It's really cool.
What's amazing is you have 400 sailors, but you also have 700 Marines on your ship, and we hear about the friendly rivalries between the various segments of the military. How do you guys all get along?
You know, I got to tell you, I've been on different ships before. On Bella Wood was my disassociate sea tour, and there was a little bit of a headbutt between the Navy and Marines. We did not have that at all. It started off fostering the culture of teamwork, what Team San Diego is all about, looking out for each other, taking care of each other, whether you're on the ship, on a mission, or out in port. And it really was a team family atmosphere that you can ask any one of the folks that was on there. It was an incredible team that we built.
It was a nice welcome home for you guys today, and granted, you came back in February, it sounds like, so you've been home for a little while, but a 7-month tour, 40,000 miles that you covered. You went to the Pacific, Asia Pacific, Mediterranean, Middle East, North Africa. Is that the norm for you guys to cover that much of the globe?
Well, normally from the West Coast, we end up going through the Western Pacific and then transiting through the Indian Ocean over to the Middle East and so forth, and doing operations there. Going into the Mediterranean, this has been my 6th deployment on a ship, and this is my first time ever going to the Mediterranean. So going through the Red Sea, the Suez Canal, and doing operations there in the Mediterranean in support of North Africa was a definite first, to say the least, and was actually a really neat experience. It was unusual, to say the least, but we really enjoyed what we had the opportunity to do and then bring it back home.
As far as your sailors go, they also get some opportunities to see the world. I mean, you've been to Vietnam, Greece, Guam, Thailand, some of the other ports. That's a great growing experience for some of your sailors.
Absolutely, a lot of firsts for these guys. First time most of any of us have ever been to Vietnam, you know, back in the Nam, which was not something we could actually say a thing when I was a kid, most of the veterans back in those days. But going there was a really good opportunity for us to actually bridge a lot of those gaps, and then first time for us to pull into Greece and a lot of different places as well. It was a fantastic experience and a lot more opportunities for our sailors to see the rest of the world.
Captain, your father served in World War II. You're now commanding your own ship. You've talked about inspiring the future generations. In fact, I think over 200 of your servicemen had career accomplishments in your last cruise. So how important is it for you to continue that legacy and continue to inspire those young sailors?
Well, that's part of why we joined. It's all about giving back. And I know for me, the reason for joining was I felt I owed something. I felt I owed something to this country to give back to what this country is all about. And that starts with the other people who actually sign that dotted line and give the pledge to actually serve their country and make sure that they're given the opportunity to actually grow and progress all the way through it. And any ship is a training ship, no matter what it is. So you're training them not only in how to do their immediate job, but the next job in front of them, and how to actually not only be a good sailor, but a good citizen and a good future for the rest of the Navy.
Captain Collins, thanks again for your service. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Guys, U.S. San Diego is in good hands and is protecting freedom around the world. Back up to you.
All right, Scan, thanks very much. Great job. And thank him for all that he does. As down to first base goes Jay Bruce. That's terrific. One of the great things that takes place here every Sunday in San Diego, Military Sunday, in each branch recognized, honored, and I think it is such a cool tradition here.
From the player's perspective, it gives you a different purpose, which I think is important, because we get stuck in that everyday world of, you're playing a game of baseball. But when the military is present, they're always on our mind, especially here in San Diego. I think the organization does a fantastic job, but we can't thank them more and even enough for all of their service.
2 on, 1 away here for Brian Mitchell, who has run into some trouble again with walks. Just handed out his second walk. So that's 21 walks. He's allowed to 11 strikeouts over the course of the season, walking more than he has struck out by quite a bit.
Yeah, pitching out of the stretch a lot and almost too much.
First and second with 1 away. Runners are off. A swing and a miss. Throw down to third, and that's not in time. Double steal here for the Mets. And that would be 4 thefts in this game already for New York. And we're only in the 3rd inning.
Now, we saw the Padres push the envelope last night with the running game. Today, it's the Mets. Cespedes back-to-back stealing attempts. Stole second base, and it looks like he got in there.
Padres will not challenge, but they are going to check on Cespedes. Sorry, the Mets here may hurt himself on that slide going into third base head first. So the trainer and Mickey Callaway out there right now.
See that left leg of Villanueva? And also that head first slide. You're seeing so many guys that are really hurting that thumb.
Yeah, he's pointing to the hand. Says he's all right. Going to stay in the game for now. Second stolen base of the inning to Cespedes. And again, 4 in the game right now for the Mets. Second and third infield to come in for the Padres all the way around. Todd Frazier down on the count, 0-2, and it's a strikeout victim his first time up. Now a grounder to third, safe there, throw across is off the mark, and the tag applied by Hosmer. Nicely done. Going down was Frazier trying to elude that tag. He just dropped. Hosmer slaps it on him as Villanueva tried to slap the tag on Cespedes, who barely got back at third base. 2 down.
Well, this ball takes him right into Cespedes. See how he has the awareness. Has plenty of time because the way it's hit. Takes a look at the umpire and then fires over to Hosmer. Hosmer again being very athletic, coming off the bag and making the tag.
Again, no challenge from the Padres. On that play at third base. Second and third still with 2 down. So now with 2 outs in the inning, the infield can move back. For Adrian Gonzalez, who bats for the second time. That one is ripped foul out ahead. Adrian Gonzalez takes on the Padres today by AARP. A former Padre, 313, 18 home runs, 62 runs batted in, a base of 370, slugging percentage of 537 in his career against his old team. Changing coast this year from LA to New York. Making his first start of the series here today at first base. Fly ball foul off to the left out of play. 0-2.
That looked like a cut fastball that cut over the middle of the plate. Got to be careful of off-speed pitches and runners in scoring position. Adrian does such a good job with runners in scoring position, but he can manipulate the barrel very well and also has that left center approach. Makes it difficult in these situations.
Got a couple of home runs in the young season, 2 homers. Driven in 12, but the average at 200 coming in. Cespedes and Bruce in scoring position with 2 down. Do it again, 0-2. Jose Reyes waiting on deck. 2 down here in the third, with the Mets already on top 2-0. Single runs in the first and second innings. Mitchell has a little trouble putting people away even when he gets ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's really the out pitch, what you have to go to. Heard so much about that breaking ball that it has a lot to do with his cutter today and that four-seamer. See if they elevate in this situation.
This is driven out towards right center field and deep back by the wall, and that's going to be off the bottom of the wall. From third, Cespedes scores. Bruce from second will score. And into second base with a 2-run double goes Adrian Gonzalez. Wall ball to right center field for the Mets first baseman. And the New York Mets have taken a 4-0 lead.
See the location. A.J. Ellis wants it on the outside corner, even off the plate. 1-2 count. Adrian Gonzalez makes him pay with the mistake over the middle.
Adrian Gonzalez coming up big with runners at second and third and 2 down, driving in 2. And a 4-0 Mets lead. Well, Jose Reyes trying to add on here. This walk, stole a base, scored a run in the second inning.
One of those guys that's hard to walk. He has an aggressive approach, especially when he's struggling. He wants to get after that fastball.
On the ground right side, Suaje at second base, on to first for the out that ends the inning. But 2 more New York runs. The Mets have a 4-0 lead. slide head first at third base, stayed in the game, but now comes out. And they're checking on that hand in between innings. The trainer was over there as well, and that is a day for him. So a new left fielder into the game for New York is Brandon Nimmo. Eric Hosmer is going to lead it off here with work to do for the Padres, trailing 4-0. Hosmer single to left field in the first inning. He has one of two Padres hits on the day. Four runs, 5 hits, no errors for New York. They have left 3, the Padres. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. They've left 4 men on base. After a 30-pitch first inning for Zach Wheeler, had a quick second inning, just 38 pitches. He needed that. Going to get that average back down again. Center fielder Michael Conforto over towards left center. Gap out in right center for Hosmer. And that's off to a 16-9 start after the first 25 games of the year. Tied for 6th best start in franchise history.
Yeah, did start 11-1.
There's a liner to left field. That's going to get in for Hosmer. Nimmo will get it back in. Eric Hosmer with his 2nd hit on the day. Christian Villanueva coming up here for the Padres. And it's time for the Kia drive to success. Padres leaders most home runs in March and April. Of course, this year starting in March. Adrian Gonzalez 9 in 2009. Villanueva with 8 so far this season. 7 others tied at 7 all time. Check swing, but a foul tip, the indication of the home plate umpire. That's a double play depth with nobody out at Villanueva. With a golf swing, fouls it off to the right out of play. Beautiful afternoon in San Diego. 3rd and final game of this 3-game series between the Mets and the Padres. Villanueva strikes out on a pitch down and away. Tough at bat for Villanueva, and the 3rd strikeout for Zach Wheeler. Time now for the tools of the trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks.
And with the power potential, and you saw the first game of the series, they were shut out to this point. Franchy Cordero takes Matt Harvey to center field. That was one of his shortest home runs, because last night saw him against Jason Vargas. Vargas misses with location, and Cordero deposits in the top tank of right field, the lower level.
And 1 out, Hosmer at first, and Franchy Cordero. Strikeout victim in the 1st inning. Yesterday, Andy Green talking about the playing time for Cordero. It'll be a little more regular, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, he's handled left-handers. He's also handled right-handers. Obviously, you're going to get those starts. I think a lot of it is staying in the strike zone. Saw the first at bat, 3 straight changeups. Getting out of the strike zone. That's the difference when it comes down to Cordero.
Especially now with Will Myers going on the DL. Strike called, and it's 2-2. Cordero is the only player this season to have hit 3 home runs over 450 feet.
Well, they talk about exit velocity, but when that comes down to it, it's squaring the ball up on that sweet spot. Saw one last night.
Goes the other way. Nicely into left field for a base hit. Hosmer stops at second, and the Padres have 2 on with 1 away here in the last of the 3rd inning.
You think about adjustments in the game, and we touched on it in his first at bat, 3 straight changeups. This is another split change. He sees it longer and hits that line drive to left center. It's a nice adjustment by the young right fielder.
One out, 2 on, and Jose Perella coming up. Walked in the first inning, 1 of 2 walks allowed by Zach Wheeler. Worked his way around a hit and 2 walks in that first. Got out of it unscathed. Fouled off to the right, out of play. Perella 2 for 4 in last night's game. Scored 3 times in last night's game. Sitting at .391 with runners in scoring position. Hosmer at second base right now. Grounder towards short. Reyes will go to first. Sidearm toss just in time, and worked out to be the only play that he had, so he gets out number 2 as Hosmer takes third and Cordero takes second.
Well, it looked like a double play ball, but Jose Reyes doesn't get a handle to it, but also possessing that strong arm. Gets a hustling Perella down the line.
Second and third, 2 down, and a chance for Freddie Galvis. His last opportunity came with the bases loaded and 2 down in the first inning, and fortunately for Galvis, he struck out swinging. Bounces in and nicely blocked there by Nito. That runner at third base. Able to block that. Marine Corps recruits up there in the right field corner, looking down on a beautiful day in San Diego here at Petco Park. Military Sunday. Foul back, 1 and 2. Hosmer started the inning with a single to left. Villanueva struck out swinging. Cordero singles to left. And Perella grounds out to the shortstop Jose Reyes. Second and third, 2 down. And a grounder up the middle into center field. From third comes Hosmer. Here comes Cordero, no throw. And the Padres have cut the Mets lead in half. 2 quick runs. Freddie Galvis cashes in, driving in a pair.
In a weird way, you almost want Freddie Galvis to have 2 strikes. Why? Because he goes to his B-hack, which I think is so important. We've seen it so many times in his short career in a Padre uniform, but this is a big hit. Answering those 2 runs that the Mets put on in the top of the third. See Austin Hedges loving that.
2 down, Galvis at first with a good sized lead, held on by Gonzalez, and noticing was Wheeler going over there. This is Suaje flying out to center field in the second inning. 0 for 1. Michael Conforto in center field, moving over towards left center. He handled that fly ball off the bat of Suaje back in the second inning. Under the fastball and got it by him. shift on Swahe on the right side of the infield. In the air, down the right field line, headed towards the seats and out of play. Big lead again at first base for Galvis. Noticing again was Wheeler going over there.
Yeah, perfect opportunity. Why not to try to get into scoring position? Freddie Galvis has 1 stolen base on the year, but he's caught 3 times. All been pretty close plays too.
There he goes. Pitch is strike 3. It's a late call there by Rippinger, and it held up Nido from throwing the ball. Didn't need to as it turned down for strike 3. Now Freddie Galvis coming up with runners at second and third and driving in 2 in the 3rd inning to get the Padres back within 2. Mets have a 4-2 lead. To the 4th we go. Two back in their half of the 3rd inning. To the 4th we go, and it's great to have with us from the Padres dugout Austin Hedges. And Austin, congratulations. Seemed like a real good night for you last night.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the boys showed up and put some runs on the board early, and I was just glad to contribute.
Austin 13 hits with a nice attack. I think the club needed that last night, but also you needed it. 5 RBIs. How'd that feel coming up clutch for the team?
I felt great. I just want to, I just want to help the team win, and I feel like I've been working really hard on my swing lately, and it was nice to get some results.
Now this team, boy, they put it together. And watching Franchi Cordero lately has got to be a lot of fun for everybody.
Oh man, isn't he something?
Incredible.
Speed, power, he does it all.
Well, today A.J. Ellis doing the catching, getting the day game after the night game off here. And this one is to center field where Margot is there to make the catch. What's it been like, the combination? You two have worked pretty good as a tandem this year so far, A.J. Ellis and yourself.
He's been awesome. I think just learning from him, he's got so much experience, game calling, just game experience. I think experience is such a good teacher, so he's been through it, in the playoffs with good teams. So just working with him on game planning and what to expect going into each series has been awesome.
Austin, you know what? We got to show the dugout last night, and there were so many conversations you had with young Joey Lucchese, and he had to battle last night. Didn't have all his stuff, but he continues to impress, even without his stuff. But then A.J. Ellis, right after he came out of the game, he's having conversations. Is it more reinforcement, or is it just getting on that same page for you guys?
It's a little bit of both. I think yesterday was a unique situation with I mean, Joey was sitting down for 10, 15 minutes in between every inning, so that's not easy. You get cold, you don't have that same feel going out there, staying hot, staying fresh. So we were both just trying to keep him locked in and have him treat it like it was a 1-0 ball game. Like, obviously we're up, 10, 11 runs early, and I told him to just go out there and treat it like a 1-0 ball game and just go out and dominate these guys, and that's what he did.
You got Lucchese and Lauer talking it over in the dugout right now. I mean, what's it like for you? We're working with these guys now that you work with in spring training, or now here at the big league level. I guess it helped to work with them in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, I heard so much about him, heard so many good things, and get to know him in spring. Ended up realizing what great people they were, and obviously great pitchers. And to have him here already at the highest level is, it's where they deserve to be, and we're glad to have him here, and we expect big things from them for a long time.
Austin, I'd like to touch on the offense, go back to the offense a little bit, because I think people don't realize that a lot of young players, I consider you a young player still, even with your experience, that you have to try to find a routine. Have you found that routine when you're doing the pregame stuff leading into a game that you're going to start?
Yeah, I've got a very specific routine, just to my mental cues and physical cues to get my body and my mind right before every game. At the same time, I'm adjusting that routine just to, find, obviously nothing's ever perfect, so trying to find something that's going to always keep me moving in the right direction. So I'm working with Jay Wash and Stairsy so far this year has been great, and they've been helping me out a ton.
This one skied to center field as back goes Margot onto the dirt of the track to make the catch that will end the inning. Austin, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on a great night last night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We head to the bottom of the fourth. Mets on top 4-2. Salute here in between top and bottom of the fourth inning at Petco Park. Per usual on Sundays here, Military Sunday. A beautiful day in San Diego. A.J. Ellis leading it off in the last of the fourth inning. Padres trailing by 2, and Anthony Gwynn Jr. joining us here.
Fellas, good afternoon.
How you doing? I wanted to get your perspective on the Military Sundays and what it meant to you as a player.
It's so unique to San Diego and our organization, coming here as a kid, as a young kid, getting to experience it, and really was my first introduction to the military, because there's nobody in my immediate family that's in the military. So it's one of those things that I got a chance to learn and realize how special having something like this, around our organization is.
It is incredible. Like no other place in Major League Baseball as far as that goes.
And you know what? And Tony and I both came in here as visitors too, and it never gets old. I mean, you die to see that on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, striking out here. That is 5 strikeouts now for Zach Wheeler, and A.J. Ellis had some things to say the first time.
It really comes down to it, you know, guys. When you come back as a visitor and you know that it's already been ingrained in you when you see the military, and you put those different uniforms on for the Padre organization, and I think Major League Baseball does a good job, but nothing like San Diego.
It's fun when you come in there as a visitor because you get to explain it to your teammates because they don't really know a lot about it because most of them haven't been here as either a Padre or playing against them. So you get to kind of explain to them what it's all about, the tradition behind it.
Zach Wheeler about to throw his 70th pitch of his outing. We had 1 down here in the 4th inning. And Mitchell batting for the 2nd time, reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. Let's see that offensive output last night for the Padres.
It really was. I mean, they put some really good at bats together, and especially with 2 outs, you saw a lot of guys shooting the ball the other way, which is something we hadn't seen in a while, and you know, they hope they can continue to build on that offensively.
Mitchell, the swing and a miss, strikes out. Back-to-back Ks here for Wheeler, 6 in all. 2 outs in the 4th inning. I got some guys who really needed to get going last night too. Nice to see Manny Margot, a couple of big hits, and the gentleman we just spoke with, Austin Hedges.
Yeah, and Manny Margot in particular was impressive to me. He had the triple that was in right center. He then lined out to right, and eventually that set him up to be able to lace that ball to left field later on in the game. And you know, I think for Manuel, that's what he's got to get back to. That's what he did so well last year, was use the whole field. And you know, this year he's been a lot more on that pull side, and hopefully yesterday it kind of opened his mind back up to that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are wondering where Manny Margot is. There's some adjustments to make in the game.
Yeah, no throw here from Todd Frazier, just puts it in his pocket with Margot running. Manuel's going to reach at first base with the infield hit with 2 down.
You know, sometimes when you're thinking the right things, you get some breaks, and I think that's the reason why Manny Margot has struggled, in my opinion, at the beginning of the year. He's tried to change that swing. It's more of a flat approach, but he's slashing the ball all over and utilizing his speed. That being said, a lot of it has to do with experience for Manny Margot, and sometimes you want to force that experience, and you really can't.
Well, first here with 2 down, and after having a great night last night, rewarded with his regular job back, leading off for the Padres today. Good size lead at first base. Time call.
It was an adjustment I think Andy Green had to make because they were struggling so much to score offensively. The top of the lineup is where it really started. And you look at yesterday, I know Will didn't have any hits, but Hosmer was right behind him. He had a few, and it kick-started that lineup, and everybody started hitting. I mean, there was only 2 guys, pitcher and Will Myers, that didn't have hits yesterday, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact from top to bottom, guys were hitting.
Yeah, and the leadoff man is really the tone setter. I know that position has changed, but even in this scenario, Hosmer's getting some fastballs. It's a running situation. You get 2 outs. You want to push the envelope. Andy Green showed that last night. But Manny Margot's presence on first base has a lot to do with what Eric Hosmer is going to get for pitch selection.
Just a threat. Doesn't actually have to steal the base. It's just a threat that he's on the base and can steal.
There he goes. The pitch is a ball. Throw down is going to skip into center field. So Margot just keeps on going to third. The throw is going to be up and over Frazier, but backed up nicely by the pitcher. Otherwise, that one could have ended up in the seats. So a nice job by Zach Wheeler getting over there as that throw uncorked by Conforto in center field.
It's clear the Padres saw something prior to today's game that let them know they were going to be running often. This throw gets by Reyes, and fortunately for the Mets, Wheeler did his job right there. He didn't give up on the play, got behind Frazier to back up, and was able to prevent that ball from going in the stands, which is where it was headed.
So stolen base and E2 charged to Tomas Nido. Hosmer with a chance here with 2 outs to get the Padres even closer, trailing by 2 right now at 1 point. We're dealing with a 4-run deficit today. Margot 90 feet away with 2 down. Big cut from Hosmer. That was the launch swing.
Yeah, and I like that too, because he got in a position where he knew that fastball was coming.
I think that's the next step for some of these younger Padre hitters, is understanding when you can let off that A swing and when you have to cut it down.
Full count here, 80th pitch of the game coming for Zach Wheeler, who had a 30-pitch first inning. Dave Island, his pitching coach, looking on. Swing and a miss, and Hosmer strikes out on the fastball. They leave Margot at third.
Go on the attack, but you also have to drop that first pitch breaking ball. Michael Conforto in his second at bat, curveball cutter, and then you see the second breaking ball of the at bat and the backdoor cutter for weak contact. So important, because Michael Conforto, 19 straight games he has reached base. That's what Brian Mitchell has to do. Pitch to contact and pitch aggressively.
Conforto leading it off here in the 5th inning. 0 for 2 today. Striking out and grounding out, followed by Nemo and Bruce.
Now, guys, it's not necessarily the punch out, which I think everyone's enamored about in the game of baseball. Pitching to contact, and Greg Maddux did a clinic on how to do that.
And when you go around the game today, pitching to contact is almost a bad word. It seems like everybody wants that strikeout, but I mean, if you're trying to save your arm as a pitcher, pitching to contact forces you to make better pitches. In essence, then you don't have to make as many pitches.
The 4th strikeout of the day from Mitchell. He's now retired 5 in a row.
Well, he's giving them different looks, and the 4-seam fastball perfectly placed. Weak contact, but that's the second strikeout for Michael Conforto today.
Brings up Nemo for the first time today. Took over for Jonas Cespedes, who left with an apparent hand injury on a headfirst slide into third base earlier in the game. Stayed in the game initially, then came out in between innings, and Nemo making his second appearance of the series. Coming off the bench for New York game 1 and doing the same here in the finale on Sunday. Cespedes had been 2 for 2 in this spot, double and a single, and had scored twice.
I know Cespedes came into this series struggling a little bit, but it certainly looks like he's starting to swing the bat a lot better.
That's a tough break for the Mets right now. If that's situation that's going to keep him out. Was homered here last night too. Pitch 80 coming up for Mitchell. Gave up a run in the first, a run in the second, 2 in the third. Pitch down and in, and he's able to strike out Nemo. Back-to-back Ks, 5 in all for Brian Mitchell, 2 down.
Well, Don, you touched on it earlier in the game, him getting in that rhythm after the first inning woes. And now you're starting to see that rhythm. Good breaking ball to Nemo there.
2 down in the 5th inning, and it'll bring up Jay Bruce. Bruce singled in the first inning, walked in the third. A shift on him here as he fouls the first one off. Christian Villanueva, the third baseman for the Padres, joining Suaje and Hosmer on the right side of the infield. Didn't get a chance to ask Austin Hedges because the inning was so quick, but I want to ask him about, you know, he has been around a little bit now. You had last year, of course, 2 years ago. Wondering about his thoughts on his own view on how to get these hitters out. Starting to have history of his own. Yeah. Rather, you know, I mean, I know he relies on the scouting report a great deal too, and all the work that the coaches provide for them. Of course, there is, but at some point as a catcher in this league, you've seen guys enough, you know how to get them out.
Yeah, he's got a good feel for the game. I think that's the reason why so many people are excited about from the catching position.
Yeah.
But he also, you would like to have him run the meetings, because when you start getting that experience that so many people talk about, it's important from the catcher's position. They already trust him. They love throwing to him. I think that's evident. And when it comes down to it, if you're running the scouting reports, you get more of that credibility. That I think goes a long way.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times, especially from the catcher position, you know, the scouting report is there to fall back on, but a lot of catchers rely on what they're seeing in live action. And as you said, Austin's got some time up here where he knows a lot of these hitters pretty well.
Mitchell jumped ahead but loses Jay Bruce here. Second time that Bruce has walked today, and third time that he's been on base. Third walk allowed today by Mitchell. And brings up Todd Frazier, the Mets third baseman. Yeah, struck out looking and grounded out to third base, 0 for 2.
Can't help but think as I'm watching Mitchell and I'm watching Wheeler, they are very similar in their stuff and how they are attacking hitters.
Announced that Yoenis Cespedes left the game with a sore left thumb. Reason for his departure, and again it was on that slide at third base head first. Always so dangerous. Fingers and hands, and bad things can happen.
Yeah, that play in particular is always tough because third basemen do different things. Some guys field it closer to the catcher on that side of the bag. Some guys put their foot right in that sliding territory. And it's tough. You really have to know what you're doing going head first. Your hands really can't be flat. They almost have to be up so that your fingers aren't in jeopardy.
Did you like the head first slide?
I did. I think as I learned how to do it better, you see he goes in, his hands are flat on the ground, and that makes you vulnerable to either get it stuck on the base or caught on his cleat there. I always had 2 rules as far as head first sliding pertained. Head first in the second was okay. Head first in the home was a no-no unless it was just an instinctual play. I had to make a move immediately. Third base, it was a coin flip. It depended on what the third baseman was doing if I was going to go in head first or not. I remember sitting in the dugout with Ricky Henderson asking him about that. And he made it really evident that he didn't like feet first because he felt like it was harder on his legs, that weight coming down. And he made he made a living with his legs. So he didn't feel like he wanted to lose that. He'd rather, go in with maybe jam a finger as opposed to really breaking down his legs.
Yeah, you think about base stealers and lean that they get with the running position that they're in. Ricky Henderson just knew how to do it.
That's a pretty good guy to ask.
It was.
I gotta give you credit for that.
That's where I learned about, you know, going in with your hands up as opposed to having them flat on the ground. It just takes that little bit of wrist that you have with your hands flat, getting it caught on the bag or on the foot, as opposed to having them high as you go in.
Yeah, we hear a lot of funny stories about Ricky Henderson, but he was brilliant when it came down to baseball.
Yeah.
Remember the first year that I was around him, we had gotten off a flight and we're going into the hotel, and we got into the elevator together to head up to our rooms. And I did not know that he spoke in the third person.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, Ricky is tired. And I said, so is Don.
So he taught you something.
Yes, I learned it. Yeah. I had no idea. That was new to me.
I'm telling you, but you say Ricky Henderson, everyone that's been a teammate of his puts a smile on their face.
It does.
He is so funny.
There it goes, and that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks here. All of a sudden, it's been a problem for Brian Mitchell, and it's creeped up on him again here after the 2 strikeouts to begin the inning. Back-to-back walks. And action in the pen for the first time today. Jordan Lyles is warming up right now for San Diego.
Yeah, the Mets have driven up that pitch count. You see 93 pitches. Has a lot to do with not having that out pitch. We saw back-to-back strikeouts this inning.
Well, you saw in that last at bat from Frazier, he gets himself in a 2-0 count. He gets off his 2 A swings. It gets back to 2-2. And then he kind of gets a little bit tighter with his zone.
And that's going to do it here for Mitchell as Andy Green heads out there to make the change from Petco Park, where the Mets have a 4-2 lead. By USAA, proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years. By Petco, the pet company. And by Cadillac. Visit your San Diego Cadillac dealers today. Military Sunday from Petco Park in San Diego. Another spectacular afternoon here. The Mets have a 4-2 lead with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Brian Mitchell just walked back-to-back Mets with 2 down in the inning and entered Jordan Lyles into his 12th game of the year.
Pitched the first game of this series. 1 inning of work, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He has been very good out of the bullpen. Big situation here.
Mitchell just a spectator now, responsible for Bruce at second, Frazier at first. And Adrian Gonzalez, who cashed in with a 2-out, 2-run double his last time up, has another opportunity to do some damage here with 2 outs now in the 5th inning. A block by A.J. Ellis.
See AJL's perfect technique down here. Gets that glove over, chest out in front, so that ball, after it hits the ground, will bounce off his chest protector and go straight down in front of him.
Just deadened it so nicely. Gonzalez off balance swing there. Evens a count of 1-1 on the change from Jordan Lyles.
This is the closest I've seen Adrian Gonzalez to the plate in 2 or 3 years. Usually he's almost in that back corner of the left-hand box. He's a lot closer than he normally is.
Finds himself down 1-2. Jordan Lyles really done a very nice job coming out of the pen for the Padres. Was in the rotation battle during the spring, was lengthened out, and so far coming out of the pen this season been very, very good.
You watch the bullpens in spring training, and it's spectacular. And yes, it's the bullpens. There's no atmosphere around you, but I think he's translated into the bullpen and being that aggressive approach, quickened up his pace. I think his stuff plays much better out of the bullpen.
In the air to right center field, sending Cordero back onto the track at the wall to make the catch. Franchi went a long way to deep right center field as Gonzalez gives it a long ride. A loud out number 3. Franchi Cordero going to get it back on the dirt of the track. Padres, we move to the home half of the 5th inning, and we got 3, 4, and 5 coming up here for San Diego. It's the starter for New York, Zach Wheeler. And Villanueva pops it up. Nido discards the mask and will not make the catch. It's going to be a foul ball. The indication by the home plate umpire on the drop.
I thought that was fair. Now he's going to ask Joe West why, because he probably got blocked out in this situation. I thought the glove was in fair territory.
Andy Green out to dispute that.
Now you see him and his momentum goes towards. I think that is very close.
You see Nido shuffle at the end to get to that ball, and he's going towards the field of play.
No charge to Nido, the catcher, on the play. That ruled a foul ball. Fouled back, and it's 0-2.
for the high fastball here. I went to the changeup.
Villanueva has walked today and struck out swinging 2 previous plate appearances against Wheeler. It's a piece here to stay alive.
It seems to have been the Mets' game plan against Villanueva all series. They haven't executed it well, but they are trying to pound him in with fastballs.
Going back to the changeup.
And it is ripped foul. Out ahead of that was Villanueva.
This is why you need to bring your glove here. Catches that ball right in the palm.
Popped up back at first. Adrian Gonzalez backpedaling and handling out number 1 here in the 5th inning. It's time now for the San Diego fans of the game. A lot of youngsters here today playing day baseball. And a beautiful day it is in San Diego for the finale of the series and of the homestand.
I love all those little leaguers sporting the Padre uniforms.
There's a few Gwin baseball kids out here too, rocking some of their uniforms as well.
Richie Cordero's 3rd plate appearance of the day. Struck out swinging and single. A nice running catch to end last inning on Adrian Gonzalez's ball that went to one of the deeper portions here at Petco Park out right center.
It's one of the luxuries of having 2 center fielders playing side by side, especially in that big alley in right center. They can both cover some ground.
Yeah, Andy Green just, said that this morning with the call-up of Travis Jankowski. Think about the defense with those 3 in the.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good speed out there. Elevates and Cordero chases a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 8 strikeouts for Wheeler, 2 down in the 5th.
Now Wheeler's settling in at that high fastball that he's starting to go to, especially with 2 strikes. Last 2 innings with 4 strikeouts.
2 down here in the 5th inning brings up Jose Perella. Has walked and grounded out. Didn't know if Wheeler would be around at this stage of the game after a 30-pitch first inning. His 93rd pitch of his outing comes with 2 down here in the 5th. Breakdown for him. Also had a 24-pitch 3rd inning. That was the inning in which the Padres scored 2 runs. Swing and a miss, and that's strikeout number 9 for Zach Wheeler, who enjoys a 1-2-3 5th. 4-2 Mets. ball to center field. Scores Cespedes, and then it is Nito, the catcher, driving in a run. As Reyes would come around to score the second run for New York. And a big hit for Adrian Gonzalez with 2 outs would play 2. Cespedes and Bruce would score on that 2-run double by Gonzalez. Mets were out to a 4-0 lead until Freddie Galvis sends this back up the middle into center field, and the Padres would score 2. Hosmer and Cordero came in, and that's where we're at here, 4-2 with the Mets on top into inning number 6. Bottom third of the order for the Mets. Reyes, Nito, and the pitcher spot. Jordan Lyles back out there, got the final out of the 5th, and now begins the 6th inning. Did he go? No. Check with Marty Foster, third base umpire. Reyes today has walked, stolen a base, scored a run, and last time up, grounded out to second base. This one foul off to the left, giving chase Villanueva, but no play.
Don't really have to throw a strike here to Reyes. He's been struggling offensively. Try to expose him, especially with the 1-2 count. See if he goes that hard breaking ball.
Line on the Padres starter today, Brian Mitchell, is on the hook. 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, walked 4, struck out 5. On the ground to first base, Hosmer will lead Lyles to the bag for the out. With Reyes arriving at the same time, but Lyles gets that foot down for the first out of the 6th inning.
One of the things Eric Hosmer does so well is field his position. You've seen him pick up that bunt fire to second. This one he gets to flip. Perfect lead for Lyles. Just there about a half a step before Reyes.
So 1 down here in the 6th inning, and Tomas Nido singled to drive in a run in the 2nd, and lined out to center, and now has fouled one off to the right, out of play. So 143 average coming in for the catcher for the Mets, catching the day game after the night game, and he takes this one the other way into right field. His 2nd hit of the day.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
You're so good at that, Mark.
Stop.
Ahmed Rosario pinch hitting here in the pitcher's spot for the starter, Zach Wheeler. Rosario starting the first 2 games of the series at shortstop, looking very good.
He did, very smooth, has that Laredo throw, and very accurate with a strong arm.
A fly ball headed out to right center. Cordero will make the catch. Margot was hanging around there. It looked like he wanted that ball. Of course, center fielder has all rights to everything in the communication there. Margot pulled off at the last second.
He has priority, but have you seen how big Cordero is? Get out of the way.
I guess that makes a difference.
That is a business decision right there.
Yeah, he's
really
boxing out.
Go up. It's like, okay, I'll let you have it.
Yep. Good decision.
Wide receiver, strong safety.
2 down. Still at first is Nito, and as Drupal Cabrera off to a great start this year, and started the day hitting at .337. 0 for 3. It was flat out to center, grounded out, and then flat out to center again. Jordan Lyles got out of a 1st and 2nd jam with 2 down in the 5th. Now has 2 outs in the 6th inning. And that one hooked foul just outside the bag at first. Park in the Park filled up today out there in right center. Big time.
Perfect day to be out there.
Eat more chicken.
Mark Grant's hanging around out there too.
He is.
You know he is.
He's on the trip.
You never see him and the Friar in the same room. You ever notice that?
I have noticed that.
There he is.
Yeah, he's just giving back to the people.
There he is. Out there for Kids Fest. Swing and a miss as Cabrera with that cut makes it a full count.
A good combination by Lyles with the changeup and also the fastball on the outside part of the plate.
Looked like Cabrera was looking off speed there because that fastball was by him. Seen 2 changeup prior to that.
Down low, and he loses him for ball 4. That was the 5th walk given up by Padres pitching today, and this one comes with 2 down here in the 6th inning. First for Lyles. Conforto now coming up for New York. Conforto 0 for 3 today. He struck out, grounded out, and struck out again. All that was against the Padres starter, Brian Mitchell. Conforto 0 for 6 in the series right now. And he takes strike 1. That's today 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. In the air to shallow left. Galvis out. Perella in, and look out. Galvis will make the catch. He and Perella do make some contact. But the catch made by the Padres shortstop. 4-2 Mets. T-Mobile. You'll see Evan Longoria up close and personal beginning tomorrow night as this one just keeps carrying it out of the yard for Evan Longoria, who homers for the Giants against the LA Dodgers today, playing day baseball in San Fran. 3-run shot there for Longoria. The Giants the 3-0 advantage.
You know, guys, we were talking about the thumb injuries, and Joe Panik is going through a situation with the Giants that might require some surgery. It's a big bat to leave off of that roster.
Yeah.
So Eric Thames also with the ligament problem. He's going to have surgery too, apparently, for the Brewers. In the thumb area. Here is Paul Sewald, who out of the University of San Diego. Was a teammate of Chris Bryant's while at the University of San Diego and into his 7th game of the year. Grounded to short. Reyes. Very good arm still to first base for out number 1. After the ball game today, heading to San Francisco, Buster Posey has always hit the Padres. A .303 average, 19 home runs. Evan Longoria really picked it up after a very slow start. We saw part of that slow start for Longoria. Of course, the former face of the Tampa Bay Rays, .357. And Jeff Samardzija against the Padres, 8-3 with a .364 earned run average. And Samardzija goes in game 1 against Eric Lauer, who will get his 2nd major league start. And I promise the conditions will be a little better for Eric Lauer this time around than what he saw in Denver. Still could be pretty chilly though.
It's probably going to be cold still.
Yeah. There's cold, and then there was that Denver situation. That was as cold as I've been in a long time.
That's not fun even to talk during the game.
No. If I was struggling talking, I can only imagine what it's like to pitch. That first major league start under his belt. Looking forward to that tomorrow night.
Was it pretty cold up in the booth?
Oh, freezing. Absolutely freezing. I mean, the wind was blowing in. It was raw. It had snowed earlier in the day. Kind of a sleet situation going on. And we found out afterwards, which was even a worse situation. The truck was kind enough to send up a space heater into the booth for us. And it came when Mud was there. I was not in the booth. And Mud set it up. So the next day I go in after freezing, colder than I've ever been in my entire career the night before. And I set it up for day 2 because it's still a little chilly even though it was a day game. And I go to check it. And there are 10 speeds of possibility. Mud had it on 1. The whole first night. I put it on 10, and all of a sudden it's like we're in a sauna. So amazingly, this whole thing could have been avoided.
Oh, man.
Could have been a little bit warmer than we were the night before.
So Mud thought 1 was the strongest.
That's the biggest. Yep, go with the 1. Unbelievable.
Oh, man. Note to self, don't let Mud set the heater up.
My fault, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, they stack it up on the right side defensively here as Swahe followed off at the dish.
You talked about University of San Diego. Somewhere in the county, Rich Hill is smiling brightly. The head coach of University of San Diego, who we think the world of. What a great program he has. Went battles with him with San Diego State. I'm sure you have some kind words for Coach Hill, huh?
Somewhere he's calling an offensive timeout as we speak.
So fouled off to the left out of play. That is pitch 8, so 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up.
I always love seeing the situation of Aztecs and University of San Diego Toreros.
It's pretty deep.
It sure is.
It's pretty deep.
How'd you do against them?
I did well against USD. They actually had some of their better teams when I was in school. They had a couple of top 25 teams that did really well, and it was probably evenly split. We probably won just as many as we lost against them.
Do you remember their Friday starter? That's the ace, right?
Yes, Friday start. We never played them on Fridays.
Nemo, the left fielder, over to make the catch on Swahe for out number 2 of the 6th inning. That was a 10-pitch at bat. And in the end, Sewald wins the battle, 2 down.
We started having actual 3-game sets against one another a couple years ago, but prior to that, it was just the Tuesday weekday games. Weren't really getting to see their number 1s a lot, but when they came to us, they found a way to get him in the game.
I was going to say, Coach Hill's going to get his ace in there against the Aztecs.
6 in a row retired here by Mets pitching. A.J. Ellis 1 for 2 today. Pitcher of record right now for the Mets, Zach Wheeler, went the first 5 innings. 6 hits, 2 runs, walked 2, struck out 9, and ended up throwing 95 pitches in the first 5.
And 5 of those 9 came in his last 2 innings of work.
Yeah, he seemed to get stronger as his outing went along.
That high fastball changeup combination today was good for him. Took some time for him to settle in.
Phil Maton looking over the scouting reports. Looks like he is ready should he be called upon. Fouled off to the right and into the press box to our right. Chase Headley is out on deck, so Maton will be called upon to pitch the top of the 7th inning, it appears. Although there are 2 outs in the inning. May not get to Headley, we'll see. Ellis fouling that off to the right, out of play. Ellis singled to right in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 4th inning. To short and Jose Reyes. That'll end the 6th inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Sewald to 4-2 Mets lead.
Week, so I mean, I just got to get ready for that, and I'm excited. So I just can't wait to go out there and prove, and that's something that I've been doing all my life. I just thought in my mind I get to play my brother twice, and you know, with my family and how competitive we are, I can't wait to beat him up 2 times.
Inside San Diego Sports debuts on Tuesday after our Padres live postgame show. Nobody's happier about it than Mark Sweeney.
Go Hawks. That's all I'll say.
How again are you a Seahawks fan growing
Jim
up
Zorn.
in Massachusetts?
Remember Jim Zorn?
Yes, I do.
Left-handed quarterback.
Steve Largent.
Oh,
yeah.
Zorn to Largent.
Yeah.
3rd and 13. They got 13 and a half. Absolutely love Jim Zorn. That's the origin of my love affair for the Seattle Seahawks.
We'll move here to the 7th inning, and Nemo going to lead it off here. He struck out his first plate appearance in the 5th inning, taking over for Yoenis Cespedes. Left this game with a sore left thumb after a diving headfirst slide into 3rd base. So Nemo took over for him in left field. Bats 3rd in the order now. Jordan Lyle's been in this game since the 5th. His spot in the order didn't come up, so Lyle stays in the game. Maton was ready to come in, and Chase Headley was ready to pinch hit.
Well, you remember too, Andy Green only has 4 guys off his bench, so if they do have to go to a bullpen piece, possibly even with a double switch.
Nemo, Bruce, and Frazier anticipated here in the 7th. Anybody gets on, and Adrian Gonzalez will have a chance. Back up the middle and into center field, and down goes the pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Ended up on the base of the hill after trying to make that play. And a leadoff single for Nemo starts the 7th inning.
You see Lyles falling off to that first base dugout, right up in that head area. You got to get down. Picks up speed off of that dirt in front of the plate.
Right back at you. So lead runner on here in the 7th inning brings up Jay Bruce. Well, Padres shift on Bruce, but they keep it tight to the infield. The double play possibilities in order on that right side.
Yeah, really got to have good communication in this scenario here. Stuff that they worked on in spring training. The double play poses problems in this situation.
Yeah, 'cause you got a guy close to second base, and Villanueva not used to moving around second base area as part of double plays, and he'd be in the mix.
Typically, you know, making that longer throw as a third baseman, now you might have to flip it to Freddie Galvis. Really rely on that veteran shortstop in scenarios like this on the double play.
First and back is Nemo. It's on top by 2. 30th pitch of relief here for Lyles is fouled back and out of play. Throw over a little closer this time, but back safely again is Nemo.
See Lyles dropping down there for the pickoff throw. Maybe quickening up a little bit. He has quick feet.
Kind of slinging it over to first base.
Yeah, they're going over again.
And that's taking advantage of the Padres earlier in this game. 4 stolen bases in the contest. They had a double steal in the 3rd inning. So it's been the weapon of choice here for part of the day for Mickey Callaway, new manager of the Mets. Again, they go over. At what point do you become tired of diving back and saying, okay, now I can't run because I'm exhausted?
That's part of the philosophy too. I mean, tiring him out a little bit, working that base runner. Make him a little more passive.
Starting to stop at first doesn't go, and the pitch will miss.
You know, so many times too that they want to keep him close, so they maybe go to the secondary stuff, give themselves a little more time. That's the luxury of having the veteran catcher behind the plate.
Well, full count now. Lyles has been very concerned with Nemo at first base, and all of a sudden this count has become full.
Sometimes you can concentrate on that runner too much instead of executing pitches. Got to be careful here. Jay Bruce has seen a lot of pitches all day long.
He has singled and walked twice, been on board 3 times. Runner goes, and a grounder foul. So first time Nemo took off and fouled off. Payoff pitch. Runner off again, and a pop-up with a shift on. Galvis is going to have to go a long way, and he'll get there on foul ground. He was over by the bag at second when he started, but ends up making the catch and foul ground for the first out here of the 7th inning.
It's on the awareness of what Freddie Galvis does. You can see him almost to the bag and hustling over, and this is not an easy play coming off the left-handed bat. of Jay Bruce. Actually comes back to the field, which helped him. That's a long run and a great play.
So out number 1 of the 7th inning. Nicely done by the Padres shortstop Freddie Galvis. And here is Todd Frazier. Frazier has struck out looking, grounded out to third base, and last time up walked. 1 for 10 in the series. Nemo at first base with that good sized lead again. Lyles going over there, this time kind of a soft toss over.
Todd Frazier has hit into 2 double plays this year. Runs fairly well for a third baseman.
Line to left field and a base hit for Todd Frazier. Nemo takes second base, and the Mets have runners at first and second with 1 down now here in the 7th inning. Let's take a look at the Arco top tier play. Adrian Gonzalez last time up. Long running catch by Franchi Cordero coming from right field over to right center. Running onto the warning track and making that grab just shy of the wall. That was with 2 on and 2 outs in the 5th inning. Now Gonzalez bats here in the 7th inning with 2 on and 1 away. He's already contributed today with a 2-run double. And 2 outs back in the 3rd inning. The difference in this game. With always good numbers against his old team. I have a feeling he's very comfortable playing here at Petco Park.
Yeah, seeing the ball very well. Obviously, Adrian Gonzalez has an approach. In this situation here, he picks out a pitch, maybe even a breaking ball.
Having good years with the Dodgers up until, as you mentioned, Cody Bellinger kind of arrived on the scene and left off the postseason roster.
Yeah, and youth served up in LA. Cody Bellinger deserves that opportunity, but changes the perspective on what a talented left-handed hitter for Adrian Gonzalez. A different career path now.
In the air to left field. Perella headed over towards the warning track and the wall, and that ball is gone. Opposite field. 3-run home run for Adrian Gonzalez. The former Padre has put the Mets on top 7-2. Still got that opposite field stroke with power. RBI day today. Adrian Gonzalez.
Oh, you see it in the location on the 88-mile-an-hour. Might have been a changeup. He goes the other way. You got to give credit to Adrian Gonzalez on that swing.
Third home run of the year for Gonzalez. Jose Reyes today has walked and grounded out twice. Also scored a run. Third year back with the Mets for Reyes after starting his career back in 2003 with the New York Mets. Stops in Miami, Toronto for a few seasons, part of his season with the Rockies. Liner the other way. That's a base hit to left field. 4th hit of the inning now for the Mets. And Andy Green going to make a double switch, it appears, as he makes his way towards home plate, and Mark Rippinger, the home plate umpire. So pitching change here from Petco Park. The Mets have opened up a 5-run lead, 7-2.
Once the season started, it was just kind of one of those things that, sitting down and being bitter isn't going to do much about it. So, I went out there, I did my thing, I grinded, and, due to, unfortunately Will's injury, got back up here and just looking to prove myself again up here.
Travis Jankowski talking about his opportunity to come up to the big leagues, and he mentioned that he got off to a little bit of a slow start in El Paso. Said, yeah, he was a little upset for the first couple of days, but he pulled himself back together, guys. Got his work done. He ended up hitting .351 before the call-up, and obviously you never want to get called up because of an injury, but he is happy to get this opportunity and looking forward to making the most of it. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Scan, thanks very much. So Jankowski in left now as part of the double switch. Phil Maton into the game, and first pitch going to miss for ball 1 to Tomas Nido. Jose Pirela makes the move from left field to second base with Suaje coming out of the game, and Phil Maton in there now. He's been warming up last inning and into his 10th game. Jordan Lyles ends up going an inning and 2/3. And so far charged with 3 runs, a 3-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez in this inning. And still responsible for Jose Reyes, who is at first base, held on by Hosmer.
Aldana Asdrubal Cabrera ends up hitting the 3-run home run in the first game, and then Adrian Gonzalez another 3-run homer. Almost feels like those backbreaker moments that you need to have. Unfortunately for the Padres, they find themselves 5 runs back.
Emo didn't like that. Spins out of the box. And the count even at 2-2. 3-run home run for Adrian Gonzalez, giving the Mets some breathing room. And that breaking ball dropping just a tad inside. Maton, 27 career appearances at home at Petco Park, just a 1.35 earned run average. That's ball 4. Walks the first batter that he faces. That's now 6 walks allowed by Padres pitching today. Pitcher Seawald will bat for himself. Well, Seawald, who had a 1-2-3 6th inning. That's here with 2 on and 1 away in the inning. They are crashing from the corners here, anticipating a bunt. No signs of a bunt. And ball 1. And he may have missed the sign. Third base coach coming down here to talk to him.
Yeah, just having that communication. Glenn Sherlock, longtime third base coach in the big leagues. Really comes down to the pressure that Eric Hosmer puts on. Very aggressive in these bunting situations.
His aggressiveness has really worked out, I think, for the most part. I don't have any numbers to back it up, but I feel like he has gotten that lead runner more times than not, being as aggressive as he is.
Yeah, and the guy that reminds me that he was very similar to was Todd Helton. You have to have an accurate throwing arm. Not every first baseman has that. I think Eric Hosmer possesses that. Probably one of his best traits at that position.
The third base coach tried to come down again, and the home plate umpire wouldn't let him do it.
He got denied.
Fifth plate appearance in the big leagues for Seawald. Now he's squaring and fouls it off. Evens the count now at 2-2. That was weird. No sign from the third base coach this time. Looked down there for a sign, got nothing. So Reyes at second, Nido at first, and 1 out in the inning. Squaring with 2 strikes and getting it down this time right in front of the plate. Ellis jumps out there in his throw to first in time. Sacrifice complete with Perella, the second baseman, covering. So 2-4 on the sacrifice gets Reyes to third, Nido to second.
Nice execution by Seawald, and you think about it with 2 strikes, just trying to lay it down. Bunts the top part of the baseball and easily moving the runners.
So second and third, 2 down, top of the order. As Drupal Cabrera coming up, 8th member of the Mets to bat here in the top half of the 7th inning. Cabrera has flied out, grounded out, flied out, and last time up walked. Mentioned earlier, Padres pitching, handing out 6 walks so far today. 4 of those charged to the starter, Brian Mitchell. Flared foul. A big home run for Adrian Gonzalez. Big day for Adrian Gonzalez. Been struggling at the plate, hitting at 200 coming in. Not a lot of playing time, and it's a 2-run double, a 3-run home run, a 5 RBI afternoon. Grounder foul, 1-2.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're the visiting player, Adrian Gonzalez comes home. It's home cooking. Absolutely loves it, as we alluded to earlier in the game. He loves hitting here at Petco Park.
High for ball 2. Balls and strikes so far here from Maton since coming in, and there's Michael Conforto waiting on deck for the Mets.
Well, you have some options. Conforto has 2 strikeouts today, 0 for 4 day. With that base open,
Reaching out and poking that foul down the left field line on a line. Cloud cover coming up over the top now of Petco Park. After bright sunshine here all day, it's clouding up. Lined into right field, a base hit for Cabrera. From third comes Reyes. Behind him, Nido will score 2 more runs for New York, and the Mets take a 9-2 lead here in the 7th inning. Turns into a big inning for them, a 5-run inning so far. As Drupal Cabrera drives in a pair.
He came in as the 3rd best hitter in the National League. He continues to pound the baseball even in this series. Had the big hit in game 1 with the 3-run home run. This is another big one.
Closes the book on Lyles, who goes an inning and 2/3, charged with 4 runs. 5 hits, walked the batter, didn't strike anybody out. And Mitchell remains on the hook, the starter today for the Padres. 9th man to bat here for the Mets in the 7th. Conforto jolts it foul down the left field line. There's now 42 pitches in the inning for Padres pitchers. Combination of Lyles and Maton. Padres shifting on the right side here on Conforto, who is 0 for 4 today. A couple of punch outs.
Phil Maton struggling with that arm side command of the fastball, just not having in that groove. Maybe not synced up today. And he has to come in on the plate, and that's where the Mets have done their damage.
Line to center field, and that's a base hit. Cabrera is headed for 3rd, and he will get there without a problem. 1st and 3rd now for New York as they have batted around here in the 7th inning. And Maton, who has been charged with a run and allowed a couple of inherited runners to score, now deals with the 1st and 3rd situation, and the 2nd time that he has faced Nemo in this 7th inning. Brandon Nemo, since coming into the game, has struck out swinging and singled to center field. 1 for 2. The 25th pitch for Maton since coming in. Popped up. Back at 3rd is Villanueva, steps into foul ground and makes the catch that ends the inning. But a 5-run inning for New York as they take a 9-2 lead here. 7th inning stretch on this Military Sunday in San Diego from Petco Park, and we will keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America.
It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Before we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game here on Military Sunday, please stand and welcome back U.S. Coast Guard Petty Officer 2nd Class Mike Gallagher. Please sing along as he presents God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
MLB At Bat is your #1 Padres app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Padres home screen icons and features such as MLB.tv Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. Well, Sewald back on the mound here, and Travis Jankowski checking in this season, 22 games with El Paso before being called up today. And taking over as part of the double switch in left field an inning ago and getting his first AB.
You know, Don, every year poses so many different challenges for guys that are trying to make the roster. Travis Jankowski right on that edge of that opening day roster. Then he ends up getting sent down. It's very difficult to manage your emotions at times. You got to realize that you got to just lock in, and you heard it. He took a couple days for himself personally, but being in that same position before, it's mentally getting forward and realizing I got to get to the big leagues as much as I can, so I have to continue to handle my priorities. That's exactly what he did. He ended up starting off a little bit slow, and as you saw the numbers and what Bob talked about, really was consistent with his approach. That's a reason why he gets called up, even with an injury. You want to be prepared for that.
We talked to Rod Barajas when we were in El Paso for the exhibition game against the Chihuahuas at the end of spring training, and I have so much respect for what AAA managers do, because it is such an important job in an organization.
It sure is. You're almost a psychologist, because you have to take that in. Rod Barajas, former major leaguer, has been through those scenarios, so that's ideal for an organization to put a guy that's experienced that before, because those communications are paramount when you're talking about situations like this.
Jankowski trying to straighten it out, fouls it off down the left field line.
Think about scenarios, and he goes back, and the guy that comes to my mind is Kevin Quackenbush. Shuttled back and forth, and obviously that reliever that had to come up here because he was a fresh arm. But mentally, how taxing that is, because you want to get here and stay here.
Line down the left field line. That'll be a fair ball as Jankowski will hold with the single. 9-pitch at bat at his return to the major leagues, and Jankowski with a single to open up the bottom of the 7th inning.
Welcome back, Travis. And this is a perfect scenario for what you've been doing. Andy Green talked about him slashing the ball on line the opposite way. That's his style, and obviously you got to use your speed as well. Nice comeback hit for Travis Jankowski.
Well, the battle really between him and Matt Caesar right up till the last day of spring training. There's a drive to left field off the bat of Margot, and that's going to be over the head quickly. And Nemo in left goes up into the seats, so a double. That'll put Jankowski at third, and it's second and third. And it cost the Padres a run, as it turns out, with the speed of Jankowski. That rattled around a little bit off the wall. He may have scored.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. And this ball is absolutely crushed. Again, 3 extra base hits in the last 2 days for Manny Margot. Getting that timing down, and you can see him syncing up with the upper half and lower half. Ball is by Nemo, and unfortunately for the Padres, skips into the seats.
Second and third, nobody out. Eric Hosmer coming up. Sewald into his second inning of relief. Grabs that outside corner. And Jerry Blevins, the only lefty in the Mets bullpen. He's had trouble with lefties. Lefties hitting at .400 against him so far this season.
Yeah, being that lone lefty in the bullpen and you're not getting that job done.
On a strike to Hosmer, who singled to left in the first, again in the third, or striking out swinging in the 4th inning. Strike 2, and Hosmer didn't think so. Shakes his head and look back at Mark Ripperger, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, good job by the catcher, and taking that borderline pitch and presenting it well to the home plate umpire.
And after that pitch on the changeup, and was trying to protect the plate there. Happy with strike 2 of that sequence. It kind of made him have to go after that pitch.
No, that's exactly right. A borderline pitch called previously, and that gives you that little anxiety in fishing for that changeup, perfectly located by Sewald.
So 1 down in the inning, second and third. And Christian Villanueva hauls it back to the screen and into the seats. Walked in the first inning, struck out in the third before popping out to the first baseman Adrian Gonzalez in the 5th inning.
Yeah, see Sewald doing a nice job. He's quick pitch, and it's messing the timing. You saw it against Hosmer, but also on that last pitch by Villanueva.
Jankowski at third, Margot at second with 1 out. And the Padres 7th inning, now trailing by 7 runs. And they're going to get on the same page here. Villanueva getting his 8th home run of the year, part of the 12-run attack last night for the Padres.
Almost had 2 home runs, get robbed by Juan Lagares on his next at bat.
The Mets have bounced back here today and answered after a tough night last night for New York. They've scored 9 runs on 12 hits. Well, plenty more opportunities to score too. They've left 9 men on base. Big day for Adrian Gonzalez. 5 RBI day. 3-run home run as part of it. Richie Cordero waiting on deck, one down here in the last of the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, and Villanueva strikes out. Second strikeout for Sewald. That is the 11th strikeout today for Padres hitters.
Up and down that Sewald has done. You saw the lower fastball in his previous pitch, and then he climbs the ladder with 2 strikes, setting up that strikeout nicely. You see really trying to fight off from getting out of the strike zone. Very difficult with 2 strikes.
Now Franchi Cordero with 2 down. 1 for 3 in the ball game. Had a single to left field back in the 3rd inning. Oh, 2. Sewell really battling his way back here after the single and double to begin the inning. Able to strike out Hosmer and Villanueva back-to-back. Not out of the woods yet, though. It's a tad high that time. That is strike 3. Cordero knew it. Takes with him the 3rd K for Sewald. 9-2 New York.
And Ronald Acuna continues to tear it up. He's now hitting over 420.
Yeah, you're getting a chance to see what the young Braves have in store. We saw Albies earlier with the homer. Here's Ronald Acuna with a double, score a run.
You know, when you take a look at what they're able to do in Atlanta, I think if you take across baseball, the emphasis on this young talent as players don't age the same way. I think it's a lot of fun to see some of this fresh blood come up.
It is, and when you see them come up and produce the way those 2 guys has especially, it makes that, not only that fan base for all of baseball who's watching it, it makes it exciting.
It's a great point, great point. All right, Atlanta over Philadelphia today. That's significant for the New York Mets, who are battling in the National League East. It's a 9-2 ball game right now. The Mets lead this one, and Tony and I are working on Padres Live, the post-game show, brought to you by Cox Communications. We're going to get you set for the upcoming series against the Giants when we see you after the out, and you'll hear from Andy Green. Gentlemen.
All right, thanks very much, Mike and Tony, as we play along here to the 8th. Kazuhisa Makita into the game now for the Padres.
Second appearance against the Mets in this series.
Takes over for Phil Maton and makes his 13th appearance. He's held opponents scoreless in 8 of his 12 outings so far. And hitters just hitting at 196 against him. Crowd's Jay Bruce, who leads it off here in the 8th inning. To right field and a base hit. 4th time today Jay Bruce has been aboard, his 2nd hit. That's now 13 hits on the day for the New York Mets. Lead runner on for Todd Frazier. Frazier has struck out, grounded out, walked, and singled.
Don, you think about scenarios, and if the Padres are going to start getting that continuity with offense, you go back to that bottom of the 7th, and that's really the time where you have to command and get those runs in. 2nd and 3rd, no outs, then you get 3 strikeouts. Obviously, we touched on it coming into this series. They're leading the league with strikeouts, but those are the scenarios that you really have to have a conscious effort, putting the ball in play, doing the right things from the get-go.
We're talking about the 2, 3, and 4 guys coming up with runners at 2nd and 3rd. This is to center. They're pretty well. Back goes Margot, and he cannot get it. That ball is gone. Just out of his reach. One of the deepest parts of the ballpark, and Todd Frazier hits his 4th home run of the year, and the Mets take an 11-2 lead.
Now the Mets veterans have served them well today. Adrian Gonzalez, obviously a big day, and then Todd Frazier, also Jay Bruce. Just out of the reach of Manny Margot over the center field wall.
So a single and a home run starts the 8th inning against Makita. A lot of times that fastball will rise above the strike zone. That time ended up kind of center cut there for Todd Frazier. Padres shift on the right side on Adrian Gonzalez, who's had a big day. RBI afternoon. And it's a fly ball to right field. Franchi Cordero on the move will get there to make the catch for the first out here at the 8th inning. And time now for the Bill Howe plays of the game and the day for Adrian Gonzalez. Able to double in 2 runs in the 3rd inning of this gapper to the track and the wall. Runs 3 and 4 of the day, and then this opposite field 3-run shot just over the short fencing down the left field line for Adrian Gonzalez. 3rd home run and a 5 RBI day for the former Padre. So 1 out, 2 runs in, and Jose Reyes has been aboard twice today, a walk and a single to left field. In the air to right field. Struck well. Back goes Cordero at the wall. That ball is gone. 2nd home run allowed by Makita here in the 8th inning. And the Mets make it 12-2. First home run of 2018 for Jose Reyes.
Well, Jose Reyes has had a good day. 2 hits on the season. I mean, today, and he came in only hitting 115. Has power in his bat and puts this one into right field.
So the reverse score of what we saw here last night. The Padres on the winning side last night. And the Mets returning the favor right now on top 12-2. Oh, 0-2. Thomas Nido batting here. 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. Strikes him out as Makita records his first K of the day. 2 down. Homer Flores going to bat in the pitcher spot. In this case, that is Paul Sewald. Ends up going 2 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs. Didn't walk anybody, had 3 pretty big strikeouts with runners at second and third and nobody out.
Also had his first career sacrifice bunt.
Flores started the first 2 games at first base, comes off the bench to pinch hit here in the 8th inning. It's cooled off here quite a bit since the sun has departed. Cloud covered Petco Park right now here in San Diego. Three-run top of the 8th inning so far for New York, on top 12-2. And that's ball 4. Flores, the pinch hitter, walks. That is the 7th walk allowed today by Padres pitching. Top of the order as Drupal Cabrera coming up. A single to right field his last time up to drive in 2 runs. And on the year hitting at .333.
Now, Don, I know that the team heads up to San Francisco for a 3-game set, off day on Thursday, and down to Monterrey, Mexico. Think about how that's going to feel for Christian Villanueva.
It's going to be pretty cool.
Exciting.
Taking on the Dodgers. We understand that Fernando Valenzuela is going to make the trip for the Dodgers. That's going to be pretty exciting.
That's rock star status.
Yes, it is.
You know what also is rock star status is Eduardo Ortega.
Yes. I had the experience of going to Mexico City with the Padres in spring training 2 seasons ago, and did the games down there with Eduardo, and there were people crawling all over me to get to him to get pictures. It was unbelievable.
I can't blame him. What a great guy.
Rock star. So many all-star games and World Series for Eduardo over the years.
Saw him before the game today, and I asked him how excited he was. He was, Marco. Very excited.
There he is.
It's a Guardado kid, right? Hey, there he is. Eduardo.
Ready to travel today. Have you been to Monterrey before?
I have not. I played winter ball in Mexico. Never went to Monterrey.
That's outside, 2-2. I was stunned by how large a city Mexico City is. And I know it's a big city.
It sure
but
is.
You get there and you actually see it. It's unbelievable.
Their passion for the game of baseball. Obviously soccer too, but baseball is a different level for me.
Popped up foul, backing out of play.
I think Major League Baseball does a fabulous job of trying to incorporate that. You remember the Twins and also the Indians go down to Puerto Rico. They played the 2-game set, but also the 2 teams, the Padres and the Dodgers, going down to Mexico.
Had a chance to open the 2008 season in Tokyo, the Tokyo Dome.
How was that?
It was pretty cool. We were there for about 7 days. This is line to right field, in for a base hit. Flores heads first to third, and the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 down here in the 8th.
What do you think of the thundersticks in Japan?
It was impressive. I mean, they have players have different sections that they sit in that section if they're a fan of that player. And it is very festive. It's pretty cool. It's different.
And it's loud, right?
It's very loud. Yeah, Tokyo Dome especially. It's like a combination of Chase Field and Tropicana Field is the way I kind of think of it. But it was cool. Open up against the Oakland A's there.
I love that. You know, and obviously it has its challenges for teams because of the travel, because of how you're going to do it with the time zones and coming back. But I think it's imperative to have a global sport when it comes down to baseball.
It was a long flight, and the weird part about it was you play 2 regular season games, and then you came back to the United States and played more spring training exhibition games.
That's tough.
Which was kind of weird. The Dodgers at the Coliseum, which was cool, in front of 110,000.
I was at that game.
Fans. You were?
Yeah, I was at that game. 110,000 people.
So was I.
Yeah.
Worst booth I've ever worked in.
I'll tell you what, in that game, I ended up doing I had Tommy Lasorda doing the wave because they did the wave.
To right and in for a base hit. From third comes Flores, and the scoring continues for the Mets. They take a 13-2 lead. Michael Conforto getting in on the act.
Now back-to-back hits for Michael Conforto. It's only so long you can hold him up. 20 straight games. He has reached base. That was with his previous at bat, but he continues to show that nice sweet stroke.
Well, 6 for 11 on the Mets today with runners in scoring position. One fouled off to the left out of play. Line to right, and that's a base hit. Coming around from second base is Cabrera. Throw will go to second, and the Mets lead it 14-2. They have batted around for the second straight inning. First and third again. And Jay Bruce, who led it off with a single to right field, bats for the second time. And a fun day for the Mets. Not so much for the Padres. Freddie Galvis coming in from shortstop to talk to Makita. Yates warming in the Padres pen. Makita's been touched for 5 runs so far here in the 8th. Fly ball foul off to the left out of play. Five-run 7th, a 5-run 8th so far for New York. Popped up. Foul ground being a wave headed over by the Mets dugout. And he makes the catch that puts an end to the inning. Another 5-run inning, 14-2 New York. Padres baseball brought to you by Hyundai. Get a great deal, more than a great deal, on an all-new Hyundai vehicle. See your Hyundai dealer today. By USAA, official military appreciation partner of the San Diego Padres. And by Nissan. Take on the unexpected with Nissan's available intelligent safety shield technologies. Innovation that excites. Well, the Mets offense has been exciting today. They banged out 14 runs, 18 hits, and have a 14-2 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Robert Gazelman into the game.
And he's done a really good job, obviously, against lefties. No hits allowed, and righties reverse splits, but also has 19 strikeouts and only 14 innings of work.
Takes over for Paul Sewall. 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 Ks. Padres hitters have struck out 12 times so far today. Here's a liner the other way into right field. A base hit for Jose Perella to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
We talked about the continuity of the offense, continuing what they did last year. Only 2 runs in the 3rd inning and clean defense. The Padres have played clean defense today, but unfortunately a lot of walks and a lot of hits from the Mets.
So Perella at first base, his first hit of the day, and it brings up Freddie Galvis. In the air to left center field, and Nemo coming over from left to make the catch for the first out of the 8th. Wilmer Flores incidentally stayed in the game after he pinch hit. He's now at second base. So that is the day for Asdrubal Cabrera. And a nice day today. Couple hits, couple RBIs, and a walk. Speaking of pinch hitters, here is Matt Caesar. Crazy part about the 12-run lead right now for the Mets, they could have done more damage. They left 11 men on base.
Had a lot of opportunities, obviously. Adrian Gonzalez with the big day. It's a talented club that's playing very well at the beginning of this April of the season.
To right end, Jay Bruce takes care of out number 2 of the 8th inning. Bring up A.J. Ellis, catcher for the Padres. Another good crowd on hand today. A lot have ducked out with the score. That's 34,639. We're here at 1 point today. So fouled off by A.J. Ellis off the catcher Nito. AJ today singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, and grounded out in the 6th inning.
You know, such a good interview with Austin Hedges and how much admiration he has with A.J. Ellis. You know, A.J. Ellis came up. Brad Osmus was one of his mentors. So just paying it forward with Austin Hedges, but that chemistry is very good.
Ground ball up the middle, ranging is Reyes, can't grab it as it deflects off the glove and into shallow center. And A.J. Ellis has his 2nd hit of the day. So 2 on and 2 down.
I can see Reyes going to his left, not having that range that he had earlier in his career. A nice knock for A.J. Ellis.
So 2 down, runners at 1st and 2nd. And here's Travis Jankowski for the 2nd time today, and he'll take strike 1. Jankowski with a single to left field. His first plate appearance back in the 7th inning. Came in as part of a double switch and took over defensively in left field. Chases after that pitch. Change up away, 1-2. At second, Ellis at first with 2 down here in the 8th inning. And Jankowski chops one to first base. Gonzalez will go to second for the force out there with Reyes covering the bag and ending the inning. To the 9th we go, 14-2 New York.
Getting pretty close to a huge milestone in the game of baseball. Albert Pujols, up to 5 North, is starting to get a little close to 3,000 hits, which is a huge milestone. But think about his career and the spectacular career, which I think is a sure thing Hall of Famer, first ballot. And you think about the home runs and the 3,000 hits, take a look at who is on this list. That is unbelievable.
It really is. 4 guys. That's incredible. Good luck to Albert Pujols. Class act.
Sure is. Obviously the big bulk of that came in the St. Louis Cardinals uniform, changing over to different leagues and up in Anaheim, where that's a talented club. He's playing a little bit more first base this year, and he's had a good start to the season.
Kirby Yates checking in here. Comes the 5th Padres pitcher of the day. His 8th appearance of the season. Looks over for Kazuhisa Makita. Lunging after that pitch for strike 1 is Todd Frazier. Frazier hit a 2-run home run last inning. It's only hitting at 158 against Kirby Yates. In there for strike 2. Frazier, Gonzalez, and Reyes scheduled to bat for the Mets. He scored 5 times in the 7th, 5 times in the 8th, batting around in back-to-back innings. Skips in and gets a piece of Ellis. Little number in front of the plate. Ellis will jump out there, grab it, clears the runner, and fires down to first base for the out. Frazier retired 2-3 for the first out here of the 9th inning. So one away here in the 9th. That brings up Adrian Gonzalez. 9th time in his career he's had a 5 RBI day. Wow. His home run was an opposite field shot in the 7th inning, a 3-run shot. 3rd home run of the year. It's after he had a 2-run double back in the 3rd inning for his 5 RBI day. On the ground and through. The shift on the right side into right field. The shift on him, he just sends it right through. Connecting with his 3rd hit of the day. Big day for Adrian Gonzalez.
You know, obviously it's going well with the RBIs, but you start thinking about it, even on a shift, beating the shift. This is a pretty good day when you can start hitting the hole with 3 guys on one side.
There's action in the Mets pen right now. Mickey Callaway trying to find another spot to get Matt Harvey some work. He is warming in the pen.
He touched on it earlier through in that first game of the series. But there were quotes the following day about how he said, I have to get used to getting my body ready for that situation. I wasn't ready for that scenario. Not something you want to hear as a manager, but you're just a newness of him being in the bullpen. Bullpen coach Ricky Bonas down there. That's the communication, and probably picks the right times to figure out what he can do to try to get a routine down in the bullpen.
Check swing foul, and it's 1-2. Jose Reyes today has been aboard 3 times, a walk and single. Also homered off Makita, one of 2 home runs allowed by Kazuhisa Makita last inning. Yates working here in the 9th inning, giving up a 1-out single. Now jumped ahead of Jose Reyes, 1-2. Fly ball towards right center field. Cordero moving over and under. And Franchi takes care of out number 2 of the 9th inning. So 2 down, and that'll bring up Tomas Nido. Catcher today who has singled twice and walked. He has scored a run and driven in a run. Part of a 14-run, 19-hit attack today for the New York Mets. Mets will head home. This is the 3rd leg of a 3-city tour for them. Well, the Padres will be headed on the road to San Francisco and Monterrey, Mexico. That's in there for a strike, 1-1.
How's your Spanish? You brushed up?
Not too good.
Is it Spanglish or is it Spanish?
No,
or what do you got?
not even. No, I got nothing.
I understand a little bit more than I can speak, but it's not good. But I'm going to be here.
Glad Eduardo is going with us, as I was when we went to Mexico City a few years ago. He really helped out.
Hey, you need those guys.
Yeah. Swing and a miss on a pitch headed away, and that is strike 3. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Mets have a 14-2 lead. Padres with a lot of work to do here as they come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they'll do it against the Dark Knight. Into the game is Matt Harvey, second appearance of the series.
Yeah, and it gave up the home run to Franchy Cordero in the first game of this series, and you could see working out of the bullpen in the splits, just not good enough. That's the reason why he was demoted to the bullpen. It'll be interesting watching this scenario unfold.
Aaron Balsley talking to A.J. Ellis here, the catcher today, and what's been a tough day for Padres pitching. Pitch in there for a strike to Manuel Margot, who leads it off here in the 9th inning. In the air to right field, coming in is Jay Bruce, and he'll make the catch for round number 1 for Manuel Margot, retired. So 1 down brings up Eric Hosmer. 2 hits today for Hosmer. Single to left in the first, single to left in the third. 2 for 4 day. Grounder down the first baseline, foul. Harvey taking a stroll in behind pitcher's mound, waiting for his right fielder Jay Bruce to get back in his spot out there. Kind of in the midst of a meeting with himself, coming back up on top. This meeting's been going on for better than a week now since he's been put in the pen.
There's some deep thoughts in his hotel room, I'm sure, and he's trying to find his way. Can't be very easy mentally for Matt Harvey.
Hosmer batting now. Christian Villanueva waits on deck. Line to right field for Hosmer, and that'll get back to the track of the wall. Quickly by Jay Bruce, and Hosmer to second base with a 1-out double. Third hit of the day for Eric Hosmer.
Well, when it comes down to Harvey, it has a lot to do with velocity. Pitched previous 93, that one 92, and not located. See Eric Hosmer, who is in a good stretch, ends up lining that for a double.
One out runner at second, and Christian Villanueva pops it up on the infield right side, and Adrian Gonzalez, first baseman, calls off Harvey and makes the catch on the mound. And right up on top to make that grab. Climbing uphill, 2 down. Well, the first game of the series, the first time we saw Matt Harvey come in from the pen. Facing Franchy Cordero to begin the 9th inning, and Cordero took him out of the yard for a home run. 5th home run of the year at the time for Cordero before he would homer again last night. So 6 total on the season. These two already have a little history.
Well, why not 3 in a row? To me, this is what you want to watch, is how Franchy Cordero can start maturing in the game. Start getting a little more consistency. You know, the power's in there, and also the speed element. We've seen today defensively making some really good plays. One off of Adrian Gonzalez, going a long way and catching that baseball.
Hosmer at second, 2 down here in the 9th inning. And a fly ball headed out towards left center field. And the center fielder, Conforto, makes the catch, just missing a collision out there in center field, and that is the end of the ball game. So after a 12-2 Padres win last night, the Mets come back and hand the Padres a 14-2 loss today in the finale of the series and the homestand. Padres Live is next. Mike Pomeranz, what's in store?
Well, guys, enjoy your trip up to San Francisco, and then it's on to Monterey. When we see on Padres Live, the postgame show, you're going to hear from Andy Green. We'll preview the upcoming series with the Giants, and we'll break down what happened here. That might be something positive you can take with you as you look forward to the rest of the week.